Our second speaker is Jeana Jorgensen, Dr. Jean Jorgensen. Jeana is a college professor by day, a blogger, and a belly dancer by night. She obtained her PhD from Indiana University, currently teaches college courses in folklore, anthropology, and gender studies. She was recently published in an anthology about fairy tales and television titled Channeling Wonder, and has been invited to speak in keynote at conferences throughout the country. Please help me in giving a warm, sparse welcome to Dr. Jeana Jorgensen. Right there?
Yes.
Sit right there.
Okay, I don't want to.
You're good?
Let's start with some things everyone knows. Stuff that's obvious to anyone who looks around the world. Stuff that is apparent to anyone. We all know there is night and day, and they are opposite. Up is not down, chocolate is not vanilla. There is left and right, there is Mac and PC, and I'm told that everyone in these parts knows that Andrew Luck rules and Tom Brady sucks. And everyone knows that there are boys and there are girls, and they're different, right? But how do we know that there are boys and girls and that's it? Sure, we have a bunch of outward markers. Boys have short hair, girls have long hair, boys wear pants, girls wear dresses. Okay, maybe those aren't really what make men and women different. Those are just superficial things. We all know what really makes men and women different, what's between their legs. It's okay, we're adults, we can say it. Men have penises, women have vaginas. Everyone is one or the other, right? This, by the way, is referred to as biological sex, sort of like your body is a coat hanger onto which we drape gender or your social identity. Sex is the terrain, gender is the map, and everything sorts out tidily from there. Except that's not true. Lots of people are born that are not clearly male or clearly female. Almost 3,000 babies a year are born in the US with ambiguous genitalia. 1 in 1,000 babies will have surgery performed to normalize their genital appearance. And then there are, of course, folks who are transgender or gender nonconforming. Okay, it's easy to dismiss this as a modern trend, modern medicine, modern liberal thinking, yada yada. But if that's the case, why does it go back thousands of years? The ancient Greeks have the myth of Hermaphroditus, who had both male and female physical traits. In both the Europe and the Arab world, we have records dating from the 15th century, documenting the existence of intersex people. In India, there's a third gender called Hydras. The Navajo have 4 genders. Other Native American tribes also have multiple genders. Lots of cultures, from the Polynesian islands to Mexico to Thailand, acknowledge that there is more than just boys and girls. And a lot of gender is tied to culture. It's specific to this context. If your gender had to map one-to-one to your sex, how do we account for the existence of so much diversity through time and space? Gender simply doesn't have much to do with biology. And the biology is already very complex. It's not just XX or XY chromosomes. If this hanger metaphor is a popular one, it's also a faulty one. Sex is more like shifting sand dunes composed of so many variables. And if some architect said, hey, let's build a neighborhood on these dunes, I would look at them really skeptically. Those are a lot of variables on which to layer something that's supposedly static and dualistic. For example, people with Turner syndrome, which happens to about 1 of 5,000 women, are lacking an X chromosome. People with Klinefelter syndrome, men, they have an extra X chromosome. So you have women with beards, you have men with breasts. None of the markers we use to attribute gender exist only in that one gender. So everyone knows a lot of things, because there are some things that are just obvious when you look around the world, like the world being flat. That's the way it seems, so that must be the way it is. But the world isn't flat. It's round, and we know that because we're able to get enough perspective to see it. And gender isn't a binary. It's not just men and women. Gender is a spectrum. The world is big enough for all of us. What we must become is big enough to accept each other for who we are. Thank you.